Do you ever find yourself questioning why, after so many years of giving to others, you still feel lonely, unfulfilled, or even taken advantage of? It's something many people in their later years struggle with. Trusting the wrong people, overextending yourself for family, and ultimately feeling more isolated than ever. Have you noticed how some people only show up when they need something from you, but vanish when you're the one in need? If you are not subscribed, I recommend subscribing and activating the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me, and if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. The first tip is one of the most fundamental but also the hardest to come to terms with. Don't trust everyone who approaches you blindly. When we reach old age, we face an often overwhelming sense of loneliness. Our children have grown and are busy with their own lives, our friends may no longer be around, and we start craving connection more than ever. It's human nature to want to feel close to others, to feel valued and appreciated. But this very desire, the need to maintain meaningful relationships, can leave us vulnerable to those who don't have good intentions. Not everyone who enters your life comes with kindness in their heart, and it's a harsh reality that we must learn to recognize. Have you ever noticed how some people tend to gravitate toward you when you're feeling down or more fragile? It's almost as if they can sense your emotional state, and they know exactly how to manipulate it to their advantage. This can be a difficult thing to admit because we want to believe the best in others. We want to trust that those who come into our lives care for us as we care for them. But the truth is, there are people out there who will take advantage of your kindness, your vulnerabilities, and even your desire to trust. Some might see you as an easy target, especially when you're at a stage in life where you might be feeling more dependent on others for companionship or support. It's heartbreaking to realize this, but it's a lesson that can save you from immense pain. Blind trust can open doors to manipulation, emotional abuse, and even financial exploitation. Think about it. How many times have you seen someone, a friend, a relative, who always seems to show up when you're at your lowest, but when life is good, they're nowhere to be found? These are the kinds of people who don't come around because they genuinely care for you. No, they come around because they're looking for something. Maybe it's money, maybe it's favors, maybe it's just the satisfaction of knowing that they have control over your emotions. And when they've gotten what they want, they disappear, leaving you feeling even more alone and vulnerable than before. It's a vicious cycle, one that can rob you of your emotional well-being if you're not careful. This isn't to say that you should become distrustful of everyone you meet or assume that everyone has bad intentions. But it does mean that you need to develop a more critical eye. Trusting people is important. We need connection and companionship, especially as we age, but trust should be earned, not given freely. Learn to say no to those who drain your energy. Say no to people who bring negativity into your life. Say no to those who only seem to be around when they want something from you. Your peace, your stability, and your dignity are worth protecting. The more you guard these aspects of your life, the more you'll safeguard your emotional health and prevent yourself from getting caught up in toxic relationships or situations that will rob you of your peace of mind in the years to come. As you move forward, think about the kind of life you want to lead in your later years. Do you want to be weighed down by the regrets of trusting the wrong people, of letting others take advantage of you? Or do you want to live your final years with a sense of freedom, knowing that you've surrounded yourself with people who truly care about you and have your best interests at heart? The choice is yours, but it's a choice that begins with being more discerning about who you let into your life. The second tip is perhaps even more challenging to embrace, but equally vital. Stop living to please others, especially your family. This one hits home for many of us because it's ingrained in us from a young age that family comes first, and that we must always be there for our children, our spouses, and our loved ones. And for most of your life, you've probably done just that. You've sacrificed time, energy, and resources to ensure that your family is happy, that their needs are met, and that they are well cared for. But here's the uncomfortable truth. this never-ending cycle of sacrifice doesn't stop as you age. In fact, for many people, the pressure only intensifies in old age. You've spent a lifetime living for others. For your children, your grandchildren, your partner. You've put your dreams, desires, and happiness on hold, thinking that one day you'll have the time to pursue them. But now, you're in the later stages of life, and the demands of your family don't seem to have lessened. They may have increased. You feel this constant pressure to always be available, to always sacrifice your needs for theirs. It's as if the expectations never end, and no matter how much you do, there's always something more they want from you. But here's the hard reality. This isn't love, it's a prison. Love is about mutual respect, about giving and receiving in equal measure. But if you're constantly giving and never receiving, if you're always sacrificing and never being acknowledged or appreciated, then what are you getting in return? Have you ever wondered why, despite all the sacrifices you make, you still feel empty or unsatisfied? It's because no matter how much you give, it's never going to be enough for some people. And while you continue to sacrifice your time, your finances, and even your health to please others, who is taking care of you? This is where the truth becomes painful, but also freeing. No one is going to take care of you if you don't start taking care of yourself. You've spent decades of your life ensuring the well-being of others, but now it's time to turn that care inward. It's time to start prioritizing your happiness, your desires, and your well-being. And this doesn't make you selfish. Far from it. It's one of the most self-loving things you can do for yourself. You deserve to experience joy in doing the things you've always wanted to do but never had the time or courage to pursue. Don't let guilt hold you back from living the life you deserve. You've earned the right to be happy, to live for yourself. If your family truly loves you, they will understand. And if they don't, that's not your burden to carry. It's time to break free from the invisible chains of obligation and expectation. You've already given so much. Now it's time for you to receive. Don't feel guilty about this shift. It's not about abandoning your family or your responsibilities. It's about finally allowing yourself to put your own needs first. Your well-being must become your priority. You've lived long enough for others. Now it's your time to live for yourself, without guilt, shame, and fear. You deserve it, and it's time you claimed it. The third tip is perhaps the hardest to put into practice, but it's also the most liberating. Don't be afraid to distance yourself from toxic people, even if they're family. I know this is a tough one. It's difficult to walk away from those we love, even when they're causing us harm. But as we age, the pressure to maintain family harmony becomes even greater. We're told that family is everything and that we must keep the peace, even if it means putting up with behaviors that are harmful to us. But here's the brutal truth. Sometimes, the greatest act of love you can show yourself is to walk away from those who hurt you. You've probably endured a lot over the years: emotional manipulation, hurtful words, constant criticism, all because you were told that you must maintain the family bond. But at what cost? How many times have you swallowed your pride, bitten your tongue, or allowed yourself to be disrespected, all to keep the family together? The truth is, your mental and emotional health is worth more than any family tie. Blood may be thicker than water, but it doesn't give anyone the right to treat you poorly. It doesn't matter if it's an ungrateful child who only calls when they need something, a grandchild who only seeks you out when they want a favor, or even a spouse who disrespects or neglects you. No one, not even family, has the right to drain your energy or undermine your happiness. It's a myth that old age means you have to tolerate toxic behavior to keep the peace. This is the time in your life when you should be seeking peace more than ever. You deserve to spend your later years surrounded by people who uplift and support you, not those who bring you down. Imagine how different your life could be if you started setting clear boundaries with those who harm you. If necessary, distance yourself from the toxic people in your life, even if they are family. It's not easy, but it's essential for your well-being. You've lived long enough to know that life is too short to spend it around people who don't truly care for you. It's time to value your own company and surround yourself with only those who genuinely love and respect you. Remember, your happiness is your responsibility, and no one, not even family, has the right to take that away from you. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. The fourth tip can bring you the most peace, though it may be hard to accept at first. Stop expecting others to recognize your sacrifices. This is a difficult truth, especially for those of us who have spent our lives giving and giving, always hoping that one day our sacrifices will be acknowledged. But here's the truth. Sometimes that recognition never comes. And it's painful. It's excruciating to realize that the people we've sacrificed so much for may never truly appreciate all we've done for them. But waiting for that acknowledgement, hoping for that moment of gratitude, will only leave you feeling disappointed and resentful. Think about all the times you've gone out of your way for someone. The times you put their needs above your own, the times you gave up something you wanted or needed so that they could be happy. And now, think about how many times those sacrifices have gone unnoticed or unappreciated. It's a hard pill to swallow, but the truth is, your worth is not dependent on others recognizing your efforts. You did what you did because it was the right thing to do. After all, you cared. After all, you loved. And that love, that care, is what matters, not whether or not it was acknowledged. Let go of the need for validation. You are enough. Your sacrifices were enough, whether anyone recognized them or not. And the moment you let go of the need for external approval is the moment you free yourself. You free yourself from the burden of waiting, from the pain of disappointment, and the chains of resentment. Live for yourself. Be proud of all you've done, but don't let your happiness hinge on whether or not others appreciate it. You have given enough. Now it's time to receive, to live, and to enjoy the life you've built. You deserve peace, joy, and happiness in your later years. These are not things that others can give you. They are things that you must claim for yourself. So stop waiting, hoping for recognition, and living for yourself. You've earned it. The fifth tip is one that, while simple in theory, can be incredibly challenging to embrace. Stop using your age as an excuse to avoid change. It's a hard truth, and for so many, it feels like an insurmountable obstacle to accept. But what if I told you that this very realization could be the key to unlocking a more fulfilling life, no matter how many years you've lived? How many times have you caught yourself saying, "I'm too old for that," whether it's learning a new skill, changing a habit you've held for decades, or even allowing yourself to embrace happiness in a new and unfamiliar way? These words, "I'm too old," become a shield we use to protect ourselves from discomfort. But at what cost? Using age as an excuse isn't just about avoiding discomfort. It's about settling into stagnation. It's about choosing complacency over growth. But let me tell you this, as long as you are alive, you have time. Time to learn, time to grow, time to evolve into someone you are proud to be. This belief that we stop changing after a certain age is one of the most dangerous myths we tell ourselves. Society reinforces this notion, making it seem like our best years are behind us after we cross a certain threshold. And what's the result? We resign ourselves to thinking, "This is just how I am," and close the door to the possibility of transformation. But nothing could be further from the truth. I'd argue that old age is one of the most powerful times for change. Why? Because with age comes wisdom. And that wisdom, if you choose to act on it, becomes your greatest tool for making profound changes in your life. Think about it. How many opportunities have slipped through your fingers because you believed the lie that it was too late for you? How many dreams were quietly set aside? How many adventures were never embarked on? And how many new experiences were left unexplored simply because you convinced yourself that they were no longer for you? It's heartbreaking to think of how much life we give up simply because we believe age is a barrier. But here's the truth, and it's a truth that many people don't realize. Age isn't a barrier. If anything, it's a gift. Age gives you a perspective that younger people can only dream of. It allows you to see the world through the lens of experience, and to understand things that once seemed confusing or out of reach. But all of this wisdom, all of this perspective, is meaningless if you don't dare to apply it. And now, for the most uncomfortable but liberating truth. It doesn't matter if you're 60, 70, 80, or beyond. If there's something you want to change, the only thing standing in your way is you. Yes, it's uncomfortable to admit, but it's also one of the most freeing realizations you can have. For too long, we've allowed our age to define what we think is possible. We've told ourselves that the years behind us are more important than the ones ahead. But why? Why should the past hold so much power over us? Instead of viewing your age as a limitation, see it as a launching pad. As long as you're breathing, there's potential for transformation. And this change, whatever it is, has the power to bring new meaning and flavor to your life. We talk about limitations as if they are set in stone, but the truth is that the only limitations that exist are the ones we create in our minds. The number of years you've lived is not the problem. It's the mindset that you've locked yourself into. Once you open yourself to the possibility of change, you'll find that life is still full of opportunities, of experiences waiting to be had. Whether it's picking up a new hobby, letting go of old fears, or simply allowing yourself to see the world through a different lens, change is always possible. It's not age that stops us, it's fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of discomfort, fear of failure. But remember this, discomfort is temporary, and regret is forever. Choose discomfort now, so you don't have to live with the regret of missed opportunities later. The sixth tip is closely tied to the fifth. Don't cling to the past as if it's your only haven. As we age, nostalgia has a way of creeping into our lives. And in moderation, there's nothing wrong with it. Those memories we hold dear, the moments when life felt full of promise and hope, bring us comfort. But there's a danger in letting nostalgia become more than just a fleeting companion. When you begin to live more in the past than in the present, you risk becoming a prisoner of your memories. And as valuable as those memories are, they shouldn't define the entirety of your life. How many times have you found yourself saying, "In my day, things were better," or "I was happier back then"? It's easy to fall into this kind of thinking, especially when the present feels uncertain or difficult. But here's the hard truth. The more you cling to the past, the more you miss out on the present. The present, though imperfect, is real. It's tangible. It's the only thing you truly have. If you spend too much time lamenting what once was, you'll find that life passes you by. And that's a tragedy because the opportunities that are still in front of you, the joys you have yet to discover, are worth experiencing. But you'll never find them if you're stuck looking backward. Life is made up of cycles. What you experienced in the past was beautiful, and it had its time. But that time has passed. Now, it's time to create new memories, seek out new joys, to reinvent yourself in ways that bring you happiness. You are not just a collection of past experiences. You are also what you choose to do with the time you have left. And no matter how tempting it is to relive the good times, it's important to remember that those times have already done their job. The challenge now is to find meaning and satisfaction in the present, to embrace what you can still do, still see, and still feel. Don't let your longing for the past blind you to the potential of the present. Life is still full of surprises, and you have the power to choose whether you will open your eyes to them or remain trapped in the memories of what has already been. And now, for the seventh tip, a topic that many find uncomfortable but necessary to discuss: masturbating every day. This is something that doesn't get talked about enough, especially among older adults, but it's important. Masturbation, in and of itself, is a natural and healthy activity. There's nothing wrong with it, as long as it's done in moderation. But when it becomes a daily habit, or worse, an uncontrollable compulsion, it may be time to pause and ask yourself why. Why do you feel the need to masturbate every day? Often, it's not about physical pleasure but about filling an emotional void. It becomes a way to relieve stress, frustration, or loneliness. But what feels like a momentary release can easily turn into a crutch, and before you know it, you're stuck in a cycle of instant gratification that prevents you from seeking deeper and more fulfilling connections. As we age, balance becomes more important than ever. Daily masturbation, when done compulsively, can drain your energy. It can create a sense of isolation and even interfere with your relationships. Instead of turning to this behavior as a way to cope with life's challenges, why not explore other avenues for satisfaction? Walk outside and feel the sun on your face. Pick up a book that inspires you. Reconnect with old friends or make new ones. There are so many ways to find joy, connection, and fulfillment that don't involve retreating into yourself. Moderation is key. Masturbation isn't the problem. The problem arises when it becomes an escape from the more meaningful aspects of life. By cutting back, you might discover new sources of joy that bring you a sense of well-being far deeper than anything physical could. It's not about eliminating masturbation, but about ensuring that it's part of a healthy, balanced life. It's important to make sure that you're not using it as a way to distance yourself from the emotional and physical connections that bring true happiness. So, what have you learned so far? We've delved into some tough but important truths about aging, emotional boundaries, and the importance of prioritizing your well-being. Whether it's recognizing toxic relationships, learning to say no without guilt, or finally letting go of the constant pressure to please others, each of these lessons can have a transformative impact on your life. Now, I want to hear from you. What's one thing from this video that stood out to you the most? Which piece of advice are you planning to apply in your own life? Maybe it's about trusting your instincts when people approach you, or perhaps it's the realization that it's okay to stop living for others and start living for yourself. Whatever it is, I encourage you to take a moment and reflect on it. Then share your thoughts in the comments below. Your insights could inspire others who are going through similar experiences, and I look forward to reading how these ideas resonate with you. Also, don't forget, your journey to a happier, more fulfilling life doesn't stop here. If you enjoyed this video, please leave your comment below, and take a moment to hit the like button. Share it with someone you think could benefit from these insights, and most importantly, subscribe to our YouTube channel so you never miss out on new content that can help you navigate life's later years with confidence, peace, and self-assurance. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.